President William Samoei Ruto visited Kisumu for the first time ever since he created this broad-based government that incorporated 4 ODM leaders into the cabinet. And the reception is one that was expected. To me, it is not news. Ruto visited the famous Kondele. And if you ask all the previous presidents, they know what Kondele is. Because anytime Raila Amolo Odinga contests and Raila says that his votes are rigged, Kondele is always a hotbed of violence. When they don't like you, getting to that place, even if you have heavy security, is always very difficult. But when they welcome you, especially if Raila sanitizes you, then they will give you the warmest reception that you can dream of. But William Ruto is being warned that he should not be so much carried away about the support from the Luo nation. People are really divided. Let us listen to William Samoei Ruto.
Hawa vijana wapate kazi. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba mambo ya afya sio starehe ya watu matajiri, lakini hata mwananchi wa kawaida aende hospitali atibiwe na serikali ilipie yeye gharama ya matibabu, ili afya isiwe starehe ya matajiri, iwe ni haki ya kila Mkenya. Watu wa Kisumu tunaelewana? Si tulikubaliana tuunde serikali ya Kenya moja ya kuunganisha Wakenya wote pale kwa broad based. Si Agwambo na mimi tulikubaliana? Mimi nauliza nyinyi watu wa Kisumu, si mnajua siku moja nilisaidia Agwambo? Na si safari hii Agwambo amenisaidia? Nyinyi mnaona iko makosa hapo? Iko makosa? Tuendelee ama tuendelee? Tuunganishe Kenya iwe moja, tuondoe ukabila, tuondoe chuki, tuondoe migawanyiko, na wale wote wafisadi na wakora waende wapi? Watu wa kabila waende wapi? Wale wa migawanyiko waende wapi? Wale wa chuki waende wapi? Mnasema waende nyumbani, sio? Sisi hatuna biashara na watu ambao wanaabudu ukabila na kuleta chuki na kuleta migawanyiko. Mimi nawahakikishia hii Kenya, kwa mapenzi ya Mungu, tutaunganisha hii Kenya iwe moja. Hakuna jamii tena itabaguliwa katika taifa letu la Kenya. Hakuna sehemu tena itabaguliwa katika taifa letu la Kenya, kwa sababu Kenya ni moja na sisi ni ndugu moja wa taifa moja, taifa la Kenya. Ama mnasemaje Kisumu? Tuendelee namna hiyo? Tuunganishe namna hiyo? Ati mnasemaje? Ati mnasema 10? Nyinyi ndio mnasema. Ati mnasema ngapi? Ati mnasema ngapi?
I want us to read what Ngunyi Wambugu was telling William Ruto concerning the support base of the Luo nation. And then Ngunyi Mutahi was not left out. He's got something to tell William Samoei Ruto. But then, if you listen carefully to what William Ruto was telling the people of Kondele, William Ruto went there to justify the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, because he's speaking in a coded message and saying that this broad-based government was formed to unite Kenya or Kenyans. And he's saying, in essence, that anyone who is opposing or was opposing this kind of unity had to be shown the door. If you want to scrutinize this, you're allowed, because we had been told that Rigathi Gachagua was a tribal leader who was trying to sabotage William Ruto and infiltrated the Gen Z's protests and wanted to topple Ruto's government. But today, William Ruto was making it clear that after expressing an olive branch to Raila Amolo Odinga, some quarters of the government led by Rigathi Gachagua was opposing this, and therefore Rigathi was to go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really very suspicious about this handshake between William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga. And I will tell you why. William Ruto is the luckiest politician in Kenya. You know that from 1997, when he contested to become the Eldoret North Member of Parliament, I think up to now, William Ruto has never lost, neither has he supported a losing camp. Even in 2007, they won, but you know what happened? The elections were rigged. In 2022, if I have to jump very fast, William Ruto got the support of Mount Kenya, something that is not always very easy. That is after he supported their son Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013 and 2017, after they rode under the guise that Raila was taking them to The Hague. And after being a deputy president for 2 terms, in fact, in their last term, he really rebelled against Uhuru Kenyatta. He created his own government, his own opposition within the government. And then 2022, he painted Mount Kenya yellow. They supported him to the last man. After getting that support that allowed him to become the president, less than 2 years, he has used and dumped them. Now he's back to Kondele. What makes you think that he will not repeat the same thing he did to Mount Kenya? Because I have seen him trying to justify why he had to kick out Rigathi Gachagua. And the reason I'm telling you that this is not new to me. While they were still together with Rigathi Gachagua, when Raila led the Azimio to go to the streets demanding for the server to be opened, they were killed. Supporters of Raila were killed. And then William Ruto chose no other place but Mount Kenya to go and justify why the police had to kill people. Because he also claimed that Raila was planning to somehow topple his government, that he was planning to destroy their businesses. And they justified why the police had to use excessive force. Today, William Ruto is using the very, very excuse that, Rigathi Gachagua did not welcome the broad-based government. Rigathi Gachagua was trying to sabotage him, and he is going to Kisumu and justifying why Rigathi Gachagua had to meet his wrath. This is what I call use and dump. Just to make sure that he gets away with the moment. And that's what I'm telling you, that I'm very suspicious, because we are not sure whether it will go up to 2027. Ngunyi Wambugu is telling William Ruto something that I want us to look at. Ngunyi Wambugu is saying this, that when Mount Kenya rebelled against Uhuru, he visited Kisumu to show that Kenya was bigger than Mount Kenya. As expected, he received a resounding welcome due to the Raila handshake. Mount Kenya hawakutambua. The rebellion escalated. That is what Ngunyi Wambugu is saying. And is adding on the same note that something else I remember about the difference between Mount Kenya and Nyanza. With a Nyanza candidate, Nyanza turned out at 60%. Mount Kenya, with a non-Mount Kenya candidate, turned out over 80%. Ngunyi Wambugu is simply telling William Ruto that we know why you went to Kisumu. Because Rigathi Gachagua has shown William Ruto dust. Rigathi Gachagua ameshika Mount Kenya. William Ruto saw what happened in Embu, and he has seen how Mount Kenya has embraced Rigathi Gachagua. He took away the deputy presidency, he took away everything, the security and all that, but Rigathi Gachagua has clung to the support. He has galvanized the support of Mount Kenya. And I know the advisors of William Ruto have told him to rush to Nyanza. Number one, he was going to test waters after the handshake between himself and Raila Amolo Odinga. Ever since he gave them the cabinet slots, he has not gone there. That's why he went there and talking about this broad-based government. He also went there to show Mount Kenya that I have lost nothing after all. Even if you go, I still have Nyanza. And Nyanza will really receive you well if you are in good terms with Raila Amolo Odinga. But one major problem that has been discussed by experts is just how the Nyanza electorate did not turn out at 90% when they knew very well that Raila was their candidate. They knew very well that they had the deep state, that is what they thought. They knew Uhuru was to support them with the machinery and the deep state. But it was very funny that Nyanza did not turn out as expected. And this is something that experts are warning William Ruto about, that Nyanza will receive you. They know how to receive people with songs and jubilation. But then when it comes to voting, they don't turn out as expected. Mount Kenya, with just a deputy or a running mate, turned out in large numbers compared to Nyanza that had got a presidential candidate. The question is, what happens in 2027 in the event that Raila will not be on the ballot, with the Ruto as the presidential candidate and maybe someone from Nyanza as a running mate, or with an arrangement that they will be given cabinet slots? There are fears that William Ruto is being warned that he needs to be very careful. He might not really count on the Nyanza vote to compensate for Mount Kenya. First, Mount Kenya votes are slightly higher than the Nyanza votes. Number two, they wake up very early in the morning and they vote. We even saw some people, some patients who are being retrieved and they were being escorted to go and vote, including some old grannies. Compared to the Luo Nyanza, there are fears that William Ruto might not meet that target if he's not very careful. That's why Ngujiri is bragging that we know that you are going to seek for that support base, but it will not suffice. But Ngunyi Mutahi is also saying something. There are several tweets that Ngunyi Mutahi did, but I want us to look at the last one. Ngunyi is saying that, dear Ruto, Kikuyu heads communicate using Bluetooth. Get the rest of the country to communicate using Bluetooth. There are 50 million Kenyans. 6 million are Kikuyu voters. If the rest of the country came together, we will stop the GEMA arrogance. That is your legacy. According to Ngunyi Mutai in that tweet, Ngunyi feels that GEMA community is, or the community is bragging and they are arrogant about their numbers, what I've just talked about. And is telling William Ruto, abandon them, ditch them, and look for the rest of the nation. The GEMA is also part of this nation. But Ngunyi is telling William Ruto to ignore them. In other words, 41 against one community. That is a narrative that is being sold, but it's a very wrong narrative. If you look at Ngunyi Mutai. The other tweet that Ngunyi Mutai did is, dear Ruto, Kikuyus will not change their mind. They are at ground zero with you. Why? No idea. Fire their ministers, appoint lawyers, Kambas, and those who will appreciate you. Fix this Kikuyu problem once and for all. As a Kikuyu, some of us believe they should be downsized. Listen to what Ngunyi is telling William Ruto. The same thing that is contained in that last tweet, that fire them, get the rest of the country, because they are arrogant, they don't appreciate you. In other words, they feel that Luos who have been given how many ministerial positions to John Badi in the finance and Wandai in the energy docket really gave William Ruto a resounding reception. And Ngunyi feels that Kikuyu Zulu Mount Kenya has been given even larger slots, but they don't appreciate. This kind of narrative is one that I don't like, because it's the same thing that Ngunyi Mutahi is telling William Ruto to do. Fire GEMA ministers and give those lots, distribute them to other regions. I don't know. I don't really advocate for this kind of tribal behavior. If William Ruto is serious that he is really uniting Kenyans, he should not listen to such kind of pieces of advice. He should treat each region equally. And I want us to maybe read the last one. This is what Ngunyi is saying. Dear Ruto, no point romancing the Kikuyus. You gave them half the government and 2.1 trillion. Then they booed you in Embu. They are ungrateful. But look at Kondele. You gave them 2 ministers and their support is overwhelming. Moi ruled for 24 years without Kikuyus. Damn Kikuyus. The same thing. The same thing. Because of the handshake, Luos welcomed William Ruto, but because he chased away Rigathi Gachagua, they booed him in Embu. So look at what Mutai is advocating for. And Kikuyus are really divided. Ngunyi Wambugu is telling him, you can go over the moon with joy because you've got the support base of the Luos, but remember they don't vote. That is what Ngunyi Wambugu is saying. But Ngunyi is telling William Ruto, don't pester anyone. Kick them out and then distribute the ministerial posts, even to add more, some to the Luos. In my very considered opinion, I feel that we have started campaigns early, too early. William Ruto has got promises that he gave to Kenyans. He should take this moment and implement those promises. 2027 will come and go, and we will form alliances. So already I hear about Matiani, Okiya Mutata. Some people are saying that Maraga should venture into the political scene. I don't think he can do that. We will have the correct realignment. For now, let us work. Let me tell you something. William Ruto must not really count fully on the support base of the Luo nation. Because if you listen to them, there are those people who still feel that their people were killed during the protest. If we have parents who lost their children during the demonstrations, do you think they will vote for Ruto simply because Raila has said? No. There are those people are saying that Kalonzo has stood with them. Amelipa ile deni because Kalonzo aliwasaliti, they say, in 2007. Lakini amesimama na Raila for like during CORD, NASA, Azimio, and they are saying, despite the fact that Raila is advocating for Ruto, they are going to support Kalonzo. Others are also saying that William Ruto has lied to Kenyans and they are not going to vote for a liar. So William Ruto cannot really count on that support base. The last time Ruto was in Kisumu, we saw Tom Ojienda distributing 1,000 notes. I believe that even this time around, they really mobilized to ensure that there was a mammoth crowd that thronged Kisumu. Some people also came out just to see William Samoei Ruto. So it's a caution that William Ruto is being given. Can he really compensate the support of Mount Kenya? It is something that we wait and see. And remember that Meg Whitman is no longer there. So I don't think we'll have an ambassador pitching camp in Bomas during tallying and verification. And we might not have another bully chairman at the IEBC like Wafula Chebukati. So things are going to change. And Gen Zs are still very bitter that they were murdered on the street. So things are really going to change as we approach 2027. If you ask me, if William Ruto is about uniting the nation, he should unite the nation, not making some 5 people cabinet secretaries, and he calls that unity. And even if he wants to unite the nation, uniting the nation must come with good governance. Let us stop all these kidnappings of the streets, corruption and wastage. Let us be very fair. Let us not just be, preaching about unity, yet we don't have the fruits. What is the need of uniting a country that is poor, that is full of corruption? Let us concentrate on ensuring that we elevate poverty. Let us ensure that we listen to Kenyans rather than listening to the international community. There is more to it than just unity. And so, ladies and gentlemen, between the advice of Wambugu and that Wambugu and that of Ngunyi, which one would you take if you are William Samoei Ruto? because it shows you Mount Kenya is divided in the middle. Please share with me in the comment section.